Hallöchen allerseits, my name is botti.crafts and welcome to my desk. This year I joined ENCHANTERIUM's Monster Me collaboration on Patreon and tackled my first Monster High doll custom. I decided to turn a Cleo Denial doll into an Autumn Witch, heavily inspired by this painting of Toshiya's son. If you're into doll customizing, you already know we have to decapitate the doll first by dunking her head into boiling hot water. The head then pops off easily, which scares our fluffy supervisor. After that, it's time for a haircut, where we remove all of the factory hair and glue. In my opinion, one of the most satisfactory steps is the removing of the glue gunk inside the head. The bigger the better, and the fluffy supervisor agrees. Unfortunately, this glue gunk is very small and disappointing. Now let's take care of her hair. I bought a bunch of blonde doll hair on Etsy and tried to do a quick and dirty job by just gluing the weft around the head in one piece. Of course, this looked terrible, so I ripped everything off and tried again. This time I cut the long weft to smaller bits, but as you can see, the parting still looked ugly. First I thought this wouldn't bother me much since the witch would also wear a hat, but in the end we had a bit more time, so I rerouted the scalp completely. It was a tedious task but worth in the end. It looks so much better. I straightened the hair with my hair straightener and this is her final hairstyle. Next up is the face up. Let's see how I do. First of all, the factory paint needs to be removed with acetone and a cotton pad. To prepare the face for drawing, I sprayed with 2 coats of this matte varnish. Normally people use Mr. Super Clear for doll customization, but I couldn't get my hands on it. I protect the hair with an old shirt, and after the varnish has dried, I start sketching with watercolor pencils and chalk pastels. To secure my progress, I use coats of matte varnish in between. And since most of my recording looks like this, we jump directly to the finished face. It ain't perfect, but it's honest work. Since the watercolor pencils didn't really do much on this varnish, I quickly changed to watered down gouache to paint the details. I topped everything again with the varnish, and now we can take care of her clothes. As everyone knows, a fashion doll needs clothes. I found these fabric samples in front of an upholsterer store and took them with me. Unfortunately, my tries to conquer my mom's old sewing machine failed terribly and I cried a lot. Then I remembered this Christmas present I got as a child, where you could make doll clothes without sewing but making knots. The set contained templates for skirts and tops, and with the help of a calculator, I found out that the measures for a Monster High doll are about 1/3 smaller. So I scaled the template down to 60% with my copier and made some mock-ups to test them out. Because I was so frustrated at this point, I didn't film much, so please enjoy my messy workplace with this annoyed throw. And now a tiny show on how I put on these clothes. I made 2 skirts. On the brown one, I used the knotting technique and glued the hem with fabric glue, and I put a bit more effort into this orange one, where I even sewed the hem and glued on a tiny velcro. I made a white blouse from a fraying cotton, but that didn't bother me much. From the upholsterer fabric I cut out 2 corset-like pieces in different colors to wear above the blouse. I don't want her to freeze, so I make accessories. I'm starting with her big boots that also contribute to her name, the Bottenwitch. Botten is a German term for big and chunky boots, and my own nickname, Botti, also descends from this very special and funny term. So it's only natural to make the biggest and chunkiest boots possible. For these, I'm taking those gooey looking ones from Abominable and shave away the drippy look with a blade. I sand them down with the Dremel, so they have a surface where my upholstery fabric will stick to nicely. I glued the fabric to the plastic with the trusty Yoo-hoo glue and add some details with foam stripes. To really keep her warm, I crocheted a scarf and a hat from the same wool. The pattern is a simple granny triangle and the hat is just made from rounds of single crochets. I added some fringes to the scarf to add this cozy autumn vibe. In the end, I didn't like the fit of the hat and tried with a different wool that I hated even more, so I tried a third option, which was to felt a brown hat, which worked very nicely, but I also didn't really like the look. It seemed too small on her big head. Her other accessories are her pet, which is a felt reincarnation of my own cute black cat that I called the Fledermäuschen. If you're interested in how I made him, please check out the video in the description. Also made her a tiny broom from some pine needles and an ash branch. Last but not least, I bought this tiny and very cozy basket and filled it with my favorite food, which is pizza and cookies. I made them from Fimo clay and painted them with some alcohol markers. Let's see how we put her outfits together. Please enjoy this montage. Here we have her 3 hats. I'm putting on her orange skirt. Selecting the fitting corset. And deciding to rather wear the red corset with her orange skirt. I'm tying the knots in the back and later hide them with her scarf. Next, I'll show you her green and brown outfit and you tell me in the comments which one you like better. A little showcase of her hats. And finally, some pictures I took and submitted to ENCHANTERIUM's Monster Me collaboration. Here are pictures of my cat and his tiny Monster Me. And that's the group portrait of all the submitted Monster Me projects. A big thanks to ENCHANTERIUM for this opportunity and, well, that's it for now.